What's going on, guys? BASSFZz here. Now, the other day, I was doing myself some thinking. And specifically, I was thinking about the character Kylo Ren from Star Wars The Force Awakens, right? Because I made a video talking about Rey from The Force Awakens. If you haven't seen that video, probably put a link up in the card section or in the description box. But I didn't really talk much about Kylo Ren. But one thing that I found, what I noticed, was how consistently across the board, a lot of people did not like Kylo Ren because, to put it bluntly, he's a bitch-ass nigga. He was, I like to call him Darth Hipster because he was just kind of whiny. And so then I thought it was pretty interesting how across the board, there are a lot of people who didn't like Kylo Ren. They didn't like how whiny he was, and then I started thinking about how a lot of people didn't like how whiny Anakin Skywalker was. And so as I kept thinking more and more about why people had a dislike for these type of characters, I started thinking more in a broader sense, and why pretty much universally why our society, particularly why we human beings really have such a disdain for weakness in men, both physically and emotional weakness in men. Why is it that we in general do not enjoy seeing portrayals of men pretty much, like say being betas or pretty much being cuckolded? I cannot stand cuckolding fetishes. So I was just wondering, so I started thinking, and I think I have come to a conclusion. I think I understand now why we as a society, pretty much in general, universally, have a disdain for weakness in men. Because it's very interesting how it's like I said, it's across the board. I've seen MRAs, I've seen anti-feminists, I've seen MGTOWs, I've seen pretty much even so-called beta males. I've seen, of course, pickup artists. I've seen it across the board, even guys who are none of those things, just regular off-the-mill guys. They don't like a whiny or weak guy. And women especially don't like men like that. Even if they just think, you being emotional is whiny or weak, you ain't getting no pussy. It's as simple as that. That's just how it is. So I'm going to go through my thoughts on how I figured this out and go across the board, until I finally get to my conclusion. Because we have to talk about this very interesting factor here. We have to acknowledge how even feminists do not like weak men. Even feminists have, what, male tear cups? Completely neglecting the fact that male tears is actually, a euphemism for, semen. Within their collective idiocy, they believe, they're drinking literal tears of weak, whiny men. It's very interesting how male anti-feminists, some of the most effeminate, and I'm going to put it bluntly, kind of weakish males, don't like it when men whine about their problems. It's incredible. It's amazing. Even though you hear feminists say that it should be okay for men to cry and for men to be emotional, even they have a disdain for weak emotional men. So let's take this from the top. We have to first think about, what does it mean to be a man? So-called, what is it called being a man? Now, strength is one of the most important virtues of being a man in masculinity, having the strength to deal with the things that come your way. Now, that's an important attribute for people in general, but it's very important for men for a lot of specific reasons. If you look at men traditionally, and if you look at men's role in society, you'll notice a couple of things. To put it bluntly, men are doers. It's men who are mostly firefighters, men who mostly bust down doors and get people out of flaming buildings. Mostly men are soldiers. It's men going around fighting people. It was mostly men who were knights. It was mostly men who were samurais. It's mostly men who are I think construction working is pretty much entirely male. I could be wrong there. I know it's 98% at the very least. Men are construction workers. Mostly men are leaders. Mostly men, even men create technology, like cameras and manufacturing. It's mostly men who are the pioneers in these areas. It's men who are usually doers. Men do things. That's the easiest thing. That's the easiest way to describe a man or a man's role here in our society. Men literally have built up the structure of our government. It's men who are usually the leaders of those, and it's usually men who are, even like garbage collectors. Even men aren't even there. As far as men are at the top, there's vastly more men at the bottom of doing remedial physical labor. It's mostly men who are janitors. Of course, there are female janitors, but yeah, I mean, of course, there's females in everything that I have said, but it's mostly men in these physical areas of actually building things and moving things, being a garbage collector, construction worker, all of that jazz and all that bullshit. And it's mostly men who have created the infrastructures, literally the buildings we live in, the technology we use. So when you look at that, you have to ask yourself a very important question. What happens when men stop doing? Well, the answer is simple. It's just a society collapse. It falls on its head. If men aren't going to build buildings, women aren't going to do. Women aren't strong enough to do it anyway. They're not going to do it. So if all the construction workers just decided, to stop building things, all right, well, how are new houses going to come afoot? If men, let's take this a couple thousand years ago. You lived in a village. You lived in a time period where a bunch of people can just rush into your village, slaughter your children, slaughter your wife, enslave you, and then run off. Or the other way around. They'll kill you, they'll take your wife, they'll take your children, and run off. See, men had to protect the villages that they created. Even the village itself was still built mostly by men. And men had to stop other men from coming around and taking their shit. That was their job. That is their role. That is even men's role now. If you listen to feminism, he for she, lots of feminists will say it's okay to be chivalrous. Although some feminists will still bitch at you about it. You will notice that even in our contemporary society, we still try to create strong, competent men. Well, that's a little nuance, because then you'll have some areas of people who try to demonize men while simultaneously trying to have men still be the protectors and providers of women. That's a whole nother topic unto itself. But we're looking more in a broader sense here right now. More broader, consistent things that are going on with the way men are raised. Because boys are still told, boys don't cry. I was taught that growing up, and honestly, in retrospect, I'm glad I was taught this. It helped me become a much more competent, strong, and emotionally powerful human being. But that's the thing about being a man. And again, a couple hundred years ago, we're talking 1,000 years ago, whatever. We're talking about how knights had to defend their lords, or soldiers or warriors had to defend their villages from other men trying to take their shit. See, this is why I think our society has such a disdain for weakness in men, and why women are not fans of emotional vulnerability in men. Because if men stopped being strong, both physically and emotionally, if men weren't physically strong, then our society collapsed. If men weren't emotionally strong, our leaders would fail and our society would collapse. We need strong men to keep society going, to keep society functioning. And this is why people disdain weakness in men, because we all intrinsically know men are the backbone of our infrastructure, of how everything runs. Everything is run by men doing something. Everything. Industry, technology, even fucking robotics. You have, of course, like I said, construction working, sewage workers, electricians. Everything is run by mostly men. And if men just decided to stop, or if men weren't strong enough to be firefighters, lots of people would die in burning buildings. If men weren't strong enough to wrestle down thieves or other murderers, if the SWAT team didn't exist, you'd have a lot of death. You have a lot more death going on. Even notice, and you'll notice that, again, even feminists, and the biggest proponents, which I'll make a whole video about, of trying to keep men being strong, would be women. It would most certainly be women. You see, women have no fucking time with men who are super emotional. They don't even think about dating men like this, which is why a lot of ladies are not fans of kindness in men. They view it as a weakness or as vulnerability. It's as simple as that. And that's why I think our society as a whole disdains weakness in men. Because if you're not emotionally strong, you can't make good decisions. So we can't have leaders who are crying and whining all the time, who are indecisive. Right? So those are my thoughts. And here's the thing. Viewer, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, nothing happens. You know, but I truly believe that the reason why our culture has such an invested interest in trying to keep men in their traditional role is because if we don't have men, this is why I believe a lot of people, even other men, don't really like the fact that a lot of MGTOWs have become nihilistic. Even other MGTOWs don't like it. Because if that becomes a widespread notion, our shit is going to plummet. Our society is going to crash if men don't do. It's as simple as that. And when you have, if men are too incompetent to, you know, work and be soldiers and be fighters and to be builders or to be firefighters, a lot of people are going to go without or just flat out die. And again, my final conclusion, I believe that that is why we as a society has a disdain for weakness in men, both physically and emotionally. Now again, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Nothing happens. But this is just a video. This is just a thought that I've been having, and I do want to see some feedback. So with that being said, man, I certainly hope you guys enjoyed today's video. And if you did, man, go ahead and click the like button. Go ahead and click that subscribe button. Comment in the comment box below. And as always, have a great day. I will see you cool cats soon. Adios.